Kitchen Nightmares, Equestrian Misadventures, Chapter 2. A Chef in a Pastel-Colored World, Part 1. Tonight on Kitchen Nightmares, we are going to receive an opportunity of a lifetime that everyone dreams of, at one point in their life, or another. To get a chance to visit and document a world beyond Earth, not just any world though, a world inhabited by candy-colored ponies who can use magic. Just a week ago, one of the royalty of Equestria, Princess Twilight, and two of her ambassadors came to our own chef Gordon Ramsay with an unusual request. To come to Equestria to deal with an epidemic of illness spreading from every famous restaurant and hotel in Equestria. She allowed us to accompany Gordon as a TV crew like us would pose less of a risk than a government official. What kinds of restaurants and hotels lie on the other side of the portal for our titular chef to review and critique? Stay tuned to find out. Twilight and her friends were given an opportunity to stay a week at the presidential suite in Caesar's Palace, while the chef and his team prepared to make the trip to the other side of the portal into Equestria. Their Secret Service liaisons provided them with transportation and protection in Las Vegas as they spent their time exploring the city's numerous sites. Pinky was busy most of the time winning countless games and slot machines in the casino, much to their confusion and dismay. Her favorites had included a game named after their cousin of their friend Applejack and the humans' version of poker. She even managed to beat a few championship-winning players with ease. Rarity had been busy browsing the many fashion shops at the local malls and boutiques, getting inspiration for her next fashion lines. Twilight had been enthralled with a series of shows on the History Channel that all seemed to be based in Las Vegas, so she thought it would be prudent to take the time to visit each location and gain valuable knowledge on human history and culture. Before they all knew it, the week had gone by and they were just about ready to be on their way and head back through the portal back through Equestria. Twilight had discovered a way to summon the dimensional crack from Pasanada all the way to Las Vegas, but in order to make sure that they can safely go through, she had requested that they would be taken to a remote place away from the major population and away from prying eyes so that she could perform the spell. So the agents directed them all into the desert towards an old gas station for all of them to rendezvous. During the car ride there, Twilight told them about the things she had learned and the people she had met. Mr. Harrison was actually pretty helpful, but I think his son's friend Chum-Li, kind of reminded me too much of Pinky. The rare, more irritating side of Pinky, anyway. What about that car shop, darling? Rarity asked. Did you enjoy yourself there, too? Are you kidding? It was amazing, Twilight exclaimed. I believe the owner's name is Danny? He was more than willing to show me a lot of fascinating things about how cars work, and it's pretty complex. The girls soon arrived at the meeting point with their liaisons, early in the morning just as the sun began creeping further and further into the eastern sky. The desolate landscape surrounding the gas station began to drastically change back from its freezing climate at night to the scorching climate during the day. The growing heat was starting to become brutal, especially for three ponies covered in fur. Can we please hurry up with this, darling? Rarity whined. I love getting my vitamin D as much as the next girl. It does wonders for your complexion in healthy amounts, but this is going to cook me, and I really don't like getting all sweaty. I'm not liking this heat any more than you are, Rarity, but we have to wait for Gordon and his team. The whole reason for being here was to bring him back over with us to Equestria so he can help us. We can just leave him, Twilight stated firmly. Well, he'd better hurry up. It's beginning to become practically an inferno out here. The brown-haired agent, who formally introduced himself a few days ago as Agent John Myers, quickly concluded a call with the chef in question. Chef Ramsay is on his way, Your Majesties. He said he won't take more than half an hour to arrive. Apparently he had to buy a new camera for one of his cameramen after, something about Miss Pie in an incident involving a fountain, a banana, and a pineapple in one of those casinos? Trust me, you don't want to know, Twilight chuckled. I just hope that this doesn't sour our relationship with him. I'd like to try and make friends in the human world, too. I had no idea someone with that much booze could move like that, one of the other agents mused. In defense, that whiskey stuff you mentioned did funny stuff to me, even with the sugar, Pinky explained from the inside of an old gas pump globe she had struck her head into. Is that the type of behavior common with Miss Pie? Myers whispered to Twilight. It's best not to question it. Believe me, I've spent years trying to, Twilight replied wryly. After a few minutes of biding her time by studying the nearby desert environment, a few cars showed up and Gordon and his team emerged. Gordon was wearing light casual clothes that were suitable for the growing temperature of daytime Nevada. He seemed to be eyeballing Pinky with a vaguely irritated look before he turned his attention to Twilight, as he seemed keen on asking her a few questions. Pardon me for asking, Your Highness, Gordon stated. Twilight, she interjected. Pardon? You can call me Twilight, Gordon. There's no need for formality here, she replied. I'd like to get to know you while I'm working with you. Alright then, Twilight. I would like to ask why we are out here. Wasn't the portal seen in Pasanada? Yes, but we are pressed for time, and a car ride would only delay us. I believe I found a way to bring the rift, or portal, as you call it, to our dark spot. I can't risk somebody accidentally following us in, so I had my license here to find a location like this one, where little to no people in the area would find us. Understandable, security and all that, he replied. But, how are you planning on bringing the portal here? With a smirk, Twilight walked a few feet out towards an open spot where only a small patch of grass was and stood in a tense position. Observe. Pinky pulled her head out of the gas globe and put on a comically oversized welder's helmet in preparation for the spell. Twilight ignited her horn with a bright lavender glow that sparked with raw magical energy. It glowed brighter and brighter until the light blinded the eyes of all who were there, until they heard a loud warbling that seemed to be coming from where Twilight was standing. When they opened their eyes, they were greeted with a mass of swirling light blue energy which they took to be the portal. Holy shit! Gordon cried. Don't worry, we're completely safe here. And just about that time the portal got here too. I've been starting to worry about some pony giving Sweetie and her friend Button Mash tainted food, Rarity dramatically stated. The girls began walking their way back to the portal casually as if nothing was wrong. Whoa, Gordon snaps. Wait, what is it, Mr. Ramsay? Rarity asked. We must really be on our way as soon as possible. Through that, Gordon and his crew cried in unison in disbelief as they pointed at the portal. Why, yes, Gordon. It's the only way to get out of the world and into the world, after all, Twilight stated matter-of-factly. He declines. There is not enough ganga and fucking meth in the fucking world to make me go through that thing. Pinky, can you be a dear and help me with him? Twilight asked mischievously as she agreed. Pinky just comically stretched out her mane with her hoof and absorbed all of their equipment into it like a vacuum cleaner and then began pushing Gordon and his crew towards the portal all at the same time, much to their dismay and utter confusion. Oh, come on, Rammy, it's gonna be fun having you over, she said with glee. Twilight and Rarity just giggled at the sight before them. Gordon and his entire crew began being bulldozed into the portal by Pinky's mane like rocks in front of a tractor. Right before him and his team were launched through the portal, Gordon heard Pinky yell as they jumped through together. Gordon couldn't make out what was around him, but vaguely saw what looked like he was falling down a hole filled with lightning and spiraling clouds of different color. He then began to feel faint as he blacked out from the force of the fall. And then he just went all splat, and then there we were, was the first thing Gordon heard when he began to stir from his unconsciousness. Underneath him, he felt a distinct sensation of soft-flowing grass. Yes, Pinky, he heard Twilight say deadpanned. We all saw it. And Twilight, dear, I think he is waking up, Rarity said. Damn, it feels like I've fallen 100 feet down a fucking well, Gordon said deliriously. I'm so sorry about that, Chef, Twilight consoled while helping Gordon up on his feet. I don't entirely understand all the mechanics of the portal yet, so there are some physical risks when making the journey. Gordon saw how upset she was at his bruising, so he tried to cheer her up. That's alright, Twilight. Let's just try and make sure that doesn't happen again, alright? Sure. Perhaps I can put down some safety measures here for future trips to and from Earth. Fantastic, he replied. Now, where are we? As his crew were helped up by Pinky and Rarity, they saw Gordon slack-jawed at their new surroundings that they found themselves in, and did the same right as they gazed upon the same wonders that he did. They were dropped right into the middle of what Gordon could only describe as a kingdom from a child's storybook. Small two-story buildings in a variety of earthen colors completely surrounded them. Gordon recognized it as some kind of town square due to the placement of the buildings and the large four-story pagoda-like structure lying right into the middle of everything. Even the environment was completely different. The sun was lower into the sky to the west, signaling that it was early evening. I think I'm drunk, Gordon said, trying to restrain his anxiety. Definitely drunk. Then we all might be drunk at the same time, Chef, his director Daniel replied. I really hope we aren't in a coma or something. No, silly, you're in Ponyville Square, duh, Pinky replied energetically. This is where we get off the Interdimensional Express. Please make sure you remember to pick up your luggage and never accept packages from strangers. It's nothing to worry about, Chef, Twilight urged. This is Ponyville, where you and your crew's primary lodgings will be while we, deal with the situation here in Equestria. Well, suppose it looks pleasant enough, he replied as ponies going about their daily duties began to notice the humans with the princess and walk right up to them with curious eyes of the new alien visitors to Ponyville. This is probably the nicest ecstasy trip I've ever had, if all this is in my head anyway. A tan pony with white hair and glasses trotted through the growing crowd of chattering ponies up to Twilight and Gordon to meet them. "Princess Twilight, it is good to see you have made it back safely," the mayor kindly said. "And who is this?" Mayor, this is Chef Gordon Ramsay. I've brought him and his team over from Earth to help us with our biological crisis here in Equestria," she explained. "And Gordon, this is Mayor. She runs Ponyville primarily around here." Fuck it. I might as well try to enjoy this as much as I can," he quietly concluded. "Pleasure to meet you, Miss Mayor, was it? I hope I can be of some assistance." "Well, we certainly are glad to accept any help we can get our hooves on," she replied. "Well, I'm glad to help in any way that I can, but firstly, we're going to need my bearings on where we are." "Of course. Just stick with the princess and her friends, and you shouldn't have any problems. If you need any assistance at all, just let me know. Absolutely anything," she said as she moved her face to the right within inches of Gordon's face, and then moved off after a solid 3 seconds of staring into large blue eyes. She then walked into the opposite direction to help disperse the crowd of ponies who continued to gawk at the humans in awe. Gordon could vaguely hear them talk about how familiar he looked to another famous pony in Canterlot. "May I ask, what the fuck was that about?" Gordon asked slowly. "She's a fan. I showed her one of your cookbooks and she became instantly hooked," Twilight replied. "Ah," he simply replied. "I'm kind of surprised that they seem to be this surprised by humans," Twilight thought out loud. "We've had a human here just a few months ago." "Wait, someone else here was here before?" Gordon asked. "Well, humans are kind of new in Equestria, and your little friend was just one human as opposed to a group of them. And with that, I'm afraid I must take my leave, Twilight and Gordon," Rarity said as she looked at the sinking sun. "I need to get home quickly to prepare dinner for Sweetie Belle and I. Yeah, I should probably get back home too. I'm babysitting the Cake Twins tonight," Pinkie added. "Well, alright, I'll see you two tomorrow then," Twilight said. "Meet me with the other three in the throne room at noon, first thing in the morning, okay?" Pinkie and Rarity went off in separate directions, leaving Twilight alone with Gordon. She escorted him and his team through the streets of Ponyville for about 10 miles, until their home came into view, which caught the humans completely off guard with its massive appearance. "Wow," Gordon said, visibly impressed. "Is that castle made of solid crystal?" his director asked. Yeah, my home tends to get that reaction from a lot of ponies and humans." She led them down the street and right into her castle home. When they got inside the massive front doors leading into the main hallway, they began to fathom just how large this castle was from its immense size of the first chamber, which echoed their every step. Gordon could tell that it was masterfully decorated and furnished, banners of purple with accents of gold hanging down from their walls on either side, an impossibly long maroon carpet trailing down the main hallway and into the separate hallways complementing the various shades of purple and blue that seemed to make up for their color scheme of the whole castle. "Your home is quite nice, Twilight. I can tell that you put a lot of care and love into it." "Well, thank you, but I can't really take the entire credit for decorating it. A lot of the decorations just sort of came with the castle." As Gordon began to raise his eyebrow in questioning at that statement, Twilight began to call for someone. Spike? Spike!" Twilight shouted. "Where are you? I've got our guests from Earth here." "I'm coming, Twilight, I'm coming!" they heard from down in one of the halls. When the owner of the voice came around the corner to greet them, Gordon wasn't sure what he was looking at. A short, chubby purple lizard with green spikes running down its back. It seemed to be grasping what looked like a feather and quill in one of its claws. "What in the cock-sucking hell?" Gordon questioned. "What is it, Twilight? I was in the middle of taking inventory of the library like you asked me." "Oh," he said as he noticed Gordon and his production team. Spike, this is Chef Gordon Ramsay and his production team. They're going to be staying with us primarily in Ponyville while he helps us deal with the outbreak," she explained. "And Gordon, Daniel, this is my adopted son and top assistant, Spike. He'll be traveling with us and the other girls while we solve this little crisis." Spike walked up to the humans with a raised eyebrow and looked Gordon up and down as the man began to feel mildly offended. Spike put on a smile and outstretched his tiny claw. "Nice to meet you. I hope you can help us all out," Spike said cheerfully. Well, I guess I will do everything I can to help, but first, I think I will need more details on what exactly is going on," Gordon replied. "And I agree, but even I'm not really entirely sure what's going on. Princess Celestia seems to know more about the situation better than I do. Which means I need to bring you all up to Canterlot first thing tomorrow. Canterlot? Ponyville? Damn. If the other cities have names like these, I think we may have our work cut out for us. Daniel quipped. Oh, knock it off, Daniel. Who's Princess Celestia, if I may ask? Oh, she's the primary ruler of Equestria and the one who moves the sun, Twilight explained nonchalantly. What? What? She moves the sun, yes, she replied to him. Jesus fucking Christ. This is gonna get weirder every minute, he lamented. Oh well, what's on the menu for dinner here? Oh, yeah, I almost forgot, Twilight replied. Spike. Yeah, I'm on it. Don't get your tail in a knot, Spike said as he ran off to another hallway and into one of the doors. They then heard the sound of pots, pans, and plates banging and crashing on the floor, and breaking into a million pieces. Oops, they heard him say. Fucking hell, was all Gordon said before he followed Twilight in Spike's direction.